From Las Vegas, Nevada, you're watching ESPN's coverage of Champ Week, presented by Principal. Here at the Orleans Arena, the final quarterfinal game of the West Coast Conference Tournament. The second seed, St. Mary's Gales, and the 10th seed, Pepperdine Wave. Take a look at the brackets and how we got here. Pepperdine, maybe their best game of the season yesterday against Santa Clara to advance. The winner of this game will meet BYU in the semifinals on Monday. Welcome you back inside the Orleans Arena. That's Karan Butler. I'm Eric Rothman. And Karan, this St. Mary's team, they're the second seed in the tournament, 22nd in the nation, and trailing Gonzaga once again. But this is a St. Mary's team that has a legitimate shot to win this tournament. Yeah,
you look at the culture that's been changed by these guys, key guys, and you look at Emmett Nahr and Jock Landale, those guys, start with them, their leadership, their direction, and how they've been able to be consistent all season long, and all the other guys have followed.
Well, you mentioned Jock Landale. He was named the Conference Player of the Year. What makes him so special?
Well, numerous things. He's a guy that's a walking double-double, and he is a problem. If you look at him on the offensive end of the floor, you cannot really guard him with just one defender. You got to throw a lot of bodies at him. And Emmett Nahr have maximized the opportunities with putting him in a pick-and-roll situation where you can utilize his versatility and creativity. And he's an unselfish star in this game. He's a guy, know that he can get his points off at any given time, but he's a very, very unselfish player.
Conference Player of the Year, averaging 22 and 10. He's actually first in the nation in total field goals made. So he gets his opportunities, and he makes the most of them, converting at a 64% clip. For Pepperdine, it's an interesting situation. Now, they're coming off their best game of the season yesterday against Santa Clara, but their head coach, Marty Wilson, listen, if they lose tonight, it's his last game as head coach. They agreed that he would not return mid-February, so they'll be looking for a new head coach. His players, though, they're healthy. That's something that they haven't had in a while, and they're playing for their coach.
Yeah, they battle health, all season long, and, particular in, Edwards. He's a guy that relied upon night in and night out. He missed a ton of time, due to a concussion situation. But he's back out there. He's playing extremely well. Had a monster game opening night here, and he's just hoping to pick up where he left off. Offensively, he looked extremely well, though, just playing within himself, knocking down shots, showing you the versatility in this game, and they're going to need him clicking on all cylinders tonight if they're able to pull off an upset tonight.
He had 25 points in the win against Santa Clara. It's his second straight game with 20 or more points. You mentioned the concussion for Edwards that he was coming back from. Pepperdine has had 5 guys this season miss time with concussions. There's been ankle injuries, knee injuries, shoulder injuries. It's been a mash unit for Coach Marty Wilson in what will be his final season. He's been with the program. He started as a player. He's been there over 2 decades in some capacity or another. His 7th season as head coach, and an upset over St. Mary's would be one heck of a way to cap off his final season with the Waves. And for St. Mary's, you have Randy Bennett. Well, he's been around for his 17th season now, just signed a 10-year extension that will take him through the 2026-27 season, and he has produced 20-game, 25-game winners nearly every season.
Hey, it's really amazing what he's been able to build, and he got guys buying into the system, the culture, and what they want to accomplish going forward, and they're getting the results. They're winning games, they're winning at a rapid rate, and it's good to see that happening.
They're 27-4 this season, 16-2 in the conference. They've won 25 or more games for 9 of the last 10 seasons. You take a look at the starting lineups, and there is Cam Edwards, the sophomore forward, 6'6", 230. He's a big body wearing number 20. We'll keep an eye on him, see if he can get his 3rd straight 20-plus point game. And then how about Emmett Nahr? You can't talk about St. Mary's without talking about Emmett Nahr, 2nd in the nation in assists behind Trey Young.
And that's something that jumps off the screen at me right there, 2nd in the nation behind Trey Young. Being mentioned in the same breath as Trey Young is just an honor in itself, and you'll see tonight the versatility of Emmett Nahr and how he's able to create.
So it'll be Pepperdine, the 10 seed, 6-25 overall. They did not have a road win all season long, as they get a bucket inside Matthew Ottaway, the senior from Toronto.
Ottaway came out strong aggressively, and he showed flashes in the few games that I have called you know, watching the Waves, that he's more than capable of scoring down there offensively.
Pepperdine actually leads this all-time series 71-69. However, the Gales have won 5 straight against the Waves. Doc Landale coming up short on his first field goal attempt. Corner 3 is good for Trey Burhow. Career high 23 points on 5 of 6 from 3 yesterday and continues right where he left off.
Listen, Burhow can shoot the ball.
40% three-point shooter on the season. A fast start for the Pepperdine Waves, who shot 71% from the floor yesterday. So West Coast Conference tournament record. Landale slips inside. That one rattles home for the big Australian.
Great signs. That's a great sign right there if you're St. Mary's. Not a good sign if you're the Waves. You want to limit his opportunities as much as possible and not let him establish a rhythm early in his ball game.
Edwards missed everything. Put back no by Attaway. Edwards, offensive rebound out of bounds. Is going to stay with Pepperdine.
There was a lot of length down there. Attaway and Landale and Edwards, you know, kind of just covered the rim from our view.
The Gales like to slow you down. 10th in the nation in scoring defense, only giving up 64 points per game. And then on the other end, on the offensive side, extremely efficient. They shoot as a team 52% from the floor.
Yeah, they share the ball, and a lot of that is because of the big fundamental inside in Jock Landale. You know, you can throw the ball to him. He's fundamentally sound. He's not going to, you know, get outside himself. And he showed flashes, you know, watching him and shoot around. He can hit that 17-footer on a consistency.
Tanner Krebs, the redshirt sophomore, on the putback after the Landale miss. Last meeting between these two teams came just about 2 weeks ago when St. Mary's won 75-61. And one. Amadi Udini pulls a Houdini, and he'll go to the line.
Yeah, I got lost in my thoughts right there. You know, watching him just, you know, dribble around, reminiscent of, you know, Steve Nash and how he used to always keep his dribble and, you know, getting the contact and pretty much just throwing it over his shoulder and getting the two to fall.
We talk about injuries. Udini tore his ACL in the 7th game of last season. Coming back this season after rehabbing, he's actually the 4th player in Pepperdine history to have 400 or more career assists. Not known as a scorer, just 3 points per game on the season. I got the bucket on the circus shot. 10 on the shot clock. Jordan Ford the miss for St. Mary's. Edwards missing after the punt fake. St. Mary's this season 16-2 in conference. And McNair missing the lay-in. The Gales lost back-to-back conference games to St. Mary's, or excuse me, to Gonzaga and USF. The only 2 blemishes on their conference schedule this season. And really, if you look at their entire record, they really had about 2 bad weeks. They lost 2 games at the Wooden Legacy tournament over Thanksgiving weekend, and then lost 2 games back-to-back in conference. And that's all 4 of their losses this season. As Udini again off the glass for Pepperdine.
Udini looking extremely comfortable going to the basket, and you know, you touched on the injury that he had. You know, he definitely bounced back from that and looking extremely healthy, making his moves.
Landale using the shoulder. 9-4 early lead here for Pepperdine. Kind of the same situation we were in the game before this. LMU jumping out to an early lead against Gonzaga. Gonzaga coming back strong in the second half to advance to the semifinals. They will take on San Francisco. The winner of this one will take on BYU. An offensive foul on Pepperdine as the Waves. And Amadi Udini, the senior guard from Oakland, have the Waves on top by 5.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Early lead for Pepperdine, 9-4. St. Mary's scoreless over the last 2 minutes and 7 seconds. We take a look at the St. Mary's Gales tournament resume. Joe Lenardi right now has them as a 9 seed. Quality win over Gonzaga, 27-4 overall. But Karan is a 9 seed as an at-large bid if you don't win this tournament. If they were to lose here tonight to Pepperdine, then all of a sudden you're talking about a bubble team for St. Mary's, and that turns around real quick.
That's amazing. I think people don't give the respect where it's due when you talk about the WCC conference and how competitive it is. And you see that, you know, anything obviously can happen, but they pretty much ran the table all season long. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with wherever they land. They definitely will be in the tournament. I'll be shocked if they was a bubble team. But I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens with them and with their leadership of Jock Landale and Menard and the crew. Obviously, anything can happen.
Slow start for their offense, but they have gotten a lot of good looks for Landale. He's 1 of 4 from the floor. Do you like what you're seeing on the offensive end from the Gales?
Yeah, he's getting great looks, as you touched on, and you know, he just have to continue to be aggressive. And you know, I don't think he needs help in that area, and good things are happening for him.
A loose ball foul underneath on St. Mary's. And they call it on Calvin Hermanson. And during the break, Jordan Ford, the sophomore for St. Mary's, actually went to the locker room with an injury. So we're not sure what happened to Jordan. We will keep you updated as soon as we find out. And Edwards on the inside.
Now you talk about teams and, you know, who should win and where they should, you know, wind up, but it's all about matchups. And you look at the personnel on this team, they match up extremely well. You're talking about the Waves versus St. Mary's. They really match up well from a personnel standpoint, where you don't have to do a ton of switching, and they can play with the pace.
Well, Pepperdine winning the rebounding battle right now, 8-4. Three-pointer off the mark by Trey Burhow. St. Mary's starting this game just 2 for 9 from the floor. They're spread out on the perimeter. Seven on the shot clock. Cullen Neal the drive. Awkward off-balance shot for him. Good defense by Pepperdine. And that three-pointer rattles in for Kobe Ross, the freshman.
Talk about the development of Kobe Ross. You know, future Hall of Famer and Chauncey Billups sat down and talked to me at one of the Waves games and just told me, you know, this kid is, you know, he's special. He works hard on his game. He's relentless on the offensive end and defensive end. He's a winner.
Turnover on St. Mary's. 9-0 run here for Pepperdine. Edwards got inside, coming off that 25-point performance yesterday. And then you mentioned him, Colby Ross. He's a top freshman in the West Coast Conference in terms of scoring and assists. Made the all-freshman team this season. And whoever inherits this program after Marty Wilson leaves has a lot of young talent to work with.
Yeah, you got a ton of young talent, not going to be your guys in particular. Marty Wilson, batch of guys in which he recruited. With a really good young nucleus.
11-0 run for Pepperdine and a timeout taken by St. Mary's. The Waves on top by a dozen. The St. Mary's cheerleaders looking for something to cheer about. The Gales, 0 points in the last 4.5 minutes. Karan, what's going on with the offense for St. Mary's?
Well, they get into the spots. They're just not making shots. You touched on Jock Landale, 1 of 4 or 1 for 5 right now. Getting in the paint, relatively good looks, you know, to his standards. And, you know, the ball is not going into the hole. But you can't get discouraged. You got to continue to, you know, play defense and win the rebound game. And hopefully the shots will follow.
Foul underneath before the shot. Be on Pepperdine. On Darnell Dunn, the junior from Jamaica. Eric Rothman, Karan Butler here with you. 13 minutes to play. The final quarterfinal game here at the West Coast Conference Tournament. First half action between Pepperdine and St. Mary's. Another foul underneath as the front court of Pepperdine having a real issue facing up against Landale.
Landale does an excellent job. You know, you saw in the Gonzaga game with Williams, and you see it now with Landale where he does an excellent job of getting his body into the defender and carving out space so he's able to, you know, get his hand on the ball, get position, and operate on the offensive end of the floor.
Landale missed the putback. Head fake and a three for Trey Burhow, his second. "14-0 run. Tanner Krebs can't end the drought. And a rebound by Burhow.
You could tell that the Waves came into this game thinking nothing but upset. And you can see it in their body language. You can see it, every player on the bench. They are really engaged. You see guys standing up over there. They really feel like they can upset St. Mary's.
Coming off a game yesterday where they shot 71% from the floor. I'm sure they have quite a bit of confidence. 3 on the shot clock. No shot, foul on the floor. St. Mary's bails out Colby Ross, who had nowhere to go.
And they're feeding off the energy of Burhow. And as you see right here, he's gonna get great position with the quick turnaround and then just escape dribble to the left, splash.
A 15-point lead for the Pepperdine Waves over the second seed St. Mary's Gales. St. Mary's hasn't scored in nearly 6 minutes of action. We take a look at what we're used to seeing from the Gales offense. 52% from the floor, 41% from 3. Top 12, 16 in the nation in a lot of offensive categories. And then you look at what they're doing so far tonight, Karan. 2 for 13 from the floor, 0 for 3 from three-point range. And they have had 2 players score, Krebs and Landale. That's it.
See, the sense of urgency is totally different when it's a win or go home situation, and with so much on the line, you have to understand that you got to hang your hat on the defensive end of the floor, on the effort things. You can't hang your hat on things offensively because that's hit or miss. And, you know, hopefully they're able to make that adjustment, but the Waves mean business. They came here and they feeling like they can upset.
Not only is it a win or go home situation for Pepperdine, but we mentioned it in the open. It's a win or it's the final game of your head coach. And that's a lot for players to want to play for. Not only to keep their season alive, but a coach that, to a man, all of these players love. He has dealt with this situation with a ton of class, staying on the bench. And what a win it would be if his Pepperdine Waves could hold it out.
Yeah, it really is. And it's a testament to Wilson and what he stands for and what he's been teaching. And, you know, the guys really are out here fighting and playing hard for him, knowing that he's not going to be in that position next year. They're going out there and giving him all of their effort. That's all you can ask for.
Landale ends the 6-minute drought for St. Mary's. Under 11 minutes to play here in the first half. I mentioned the injury issues for Pepperdine this season. 10 of their 13 scholarship players missed multiple games with injury. And this is really the first time this season that they've had a full roster.
Yeah, you've seen, you know, Ross and so many of the young guys playing, you know, max minutes in a lot of the games because, you know, they only had a 7-man rotation because so many guys was, you know, out with injuries. But now you see that, you know, coach can go into his, bag of tricks and put different lineups out there and personnel and go big or go small and, play with pace, all the things that he envisioned coming into the season before all the injuries.
And again, the post-up defense on Landale forces Pepperdine into a foul.
Yeah, he's a handful, and, at some point I want to see, are they going to continue to guard him man-to-man, or are they going to try to throw double teams at him? Because once teams usually throw double teams at Landale, that's when things start opening it up for their offense because guys on the perimeter start knocking down open looks.
Hadaway was called for his first personal. Seven on the shot clock for St. Mary's, who has hit one of their last 10 field goals. Jordan Ford is back out there after going to the locker room with an injury, and he gets the runner.
This is a tough move by Ford right there, just weaving and getting to the paint. And the degree of difficulty having body control and still finishing in traffic. Tough move.
Hadaway with the left hand, no. Now a little bit of pace for the Gales. Here's Ford again, and he carried the basketball. Turnover on St. Mary's.
You see Ford coming down the length of the floor. It's the right call. Hand did go underneath the ball.
Udini, the Euro step splits the defense. Missed the layup.
Really good move by Udini. Fell a little short.
Krebs in the corner, missed. Offensive rebound, Landale. Hermanson for three. And a loose ball foul after Udini came down with it. And the foul will be on St. Mary's. You really see the discrepancy in size down low with Landale and the entire Pepperdine front court. They just don't have the bodies to deal with him. So to get any rebound, they're pushing, they're shoving, they're throwing bodies around because they're willing to take fouls if it means not giving Landale easy second chance buckets.
Yeah, but they're making up for it with heart and effort, and that's something that you can't teach. You can have all the sides, but you can always impose your will on a ball game, and that's exactly what you're seeing from the Waves this first half.
There's Jody Smith, the freshman. Udini picks up from 12 feet. Offensive rebound, Cam Edwards. I don't know how he missed that one. No points for Pepperdine in the last 4 minutes. They're 0 for their last 5. And now the Gales are heating up Jordan Ford, his first triple.
And that's going to open up things in the paint for Landale. The more and more shots are knocked down on the perimeter and other guys are scoring, it's going to open up opportunities for Landale to go one-on-one.
7-0 run for the Gales. Burhow missing on the elbow. Offensive rebound. Hadaway, no. Another board for Landale. It's number 7. Oh, Ford has been all over the place here in the first half.
And that's what happens, in tournament games. The game plan is, keyed at, a particular guy or guys on the team, and you're going to need the others to step up. And you see Ford taking advantage of the opportunity to loosen up the defense on Landale.
Udini, good defense on the inside by Evan Fitzner. Here comes Ford again. Ford, high stepping inside. And a foul will send Jordan Ford to the free throw line.
You see Ford, you know, not being discouraged. Shooting a three-point basket right here. And then creating something out of nothing. Going high off the glass for 2. I see you working.
Do you believe in second chances? Walker, well, here is the new beginning.
Knocked out the shot clock. Are you serious?
Get ready right now with Champ Week. Champ Week, presented by Prism on ESPN.
We are in Las Vegas for Champ Week, the West Coast Conference Tournament at the Orleans Arena. Gonzaga, San Francisco already advancing. BYU, a very solid win over San Diego in the quarterfinals. And the winner of this game right now, St. Mary's and Pepperdine, will advance. And St. Mary's in the middle of a 9-0 run. Pepperdine scoreless over the last 5.5 minutes. And Karan, really the offensive spark has been Jordan Ford for the Gales.
Yeah, it really has. And you know, he came in, you know, just ready for his moment. He understood that, you know, Nar had a problem with getting a rhythm, and they were struggling offensively, and he took it upon himself to make some things happen. He's one of the few guys in this lineup that can do some things off the dribble and create for himself and others, and he's taking full advantage of it.
And Randy Bennett, he said Jordan Ford is our quickest player, and we've seen that foot speed off the dribble and on the defensive end as well. As Ford, a little bit too much pressure on Colby Ross. Ford whistled for the personal.
And that's what you need. You see him make the free throws, and then he quickly get up into Ross and make it difficult for him to bring the ball up the court. Even though he picked up the foul right there, you need someone to muck up the game like that, and that's exactly what he's in there for.
Sets the tone.
Yeah, absolutely.
11-0 run for St. Mary's over the last 4 minutes and change. Here's Ross on the left wing. Another 3 for Colby Ross.
Kid's a gamer.
Mr. Basketball from the state of Colorado. Aurora, Colorado to be exact. Landale, they double team him, Karan. Now Ford, the blow by, the floater for Jordan Ford. As Ford has 11.
Yeah, excellent job of hitting Landale as soon as he caught the ball, but you know, he's so aware. He's seen pretty much every double team all season long, or pretty much the duration of his career. And he doesn't exhaust the ball. He doesn't hold it too long. He threw it right out, and they got a great opportunity out of it.
St. Mary's within 5. 7 on the shot clock for the Gales. A foul on the floor on Emmett Nar, his first personal. Excuse me, his second personal. So both Nar and Landale relatively quiet. Nar, no points, only 1 assist. Landale, 4 points on 2 of 6 shooting. As St. Mary's comeback has been anchored by Jordan Ford. Five on the shot clock. Udini, a deep 3. That's what the Gales like to do on defense. Wear you down late in the shot clock, make you take a bad shot. The trap defense on Landale, has to dribble it out. Three-pointer on the near side is good for Calvin Hermanson, and credit Landale for continuing to find the open man.
Look at his vision, and because of his size, he can see over the defenders. He did an excellent job of escape dribbling, getting out of that trap, saw the double team coming, skipped it across court. Easy money.
16-3 run. St. Mary's has not led at any point during the first half so far. Ross turnaround at the elbow. 3 on the shot clock, came up short. St. Mary's a chance to tie or take the lead. Here's Nar, straightaway 3. First lead of the game for the Gales.
You don't usually see Nar come down the length of the floor in transition and pull up and shoot that shot. But he's showing and keeping the defense honest, showing that he's more than capable of making it.
Turnover. Landale got the steal. Ford dribbles out of trouble. 4 minutes to play here in the first half. Free throw line. This is Darnell Dunn with the right hand, and he gets the rattle off the backboard. Darnell, the junior college transfer, went to Miami-Dade Junior College, originally from Jamaica. Actually, high school teammates with Brandon Ingram of the Lakers.
Passed up a good look to get a great look. Had the 17-footer, dribbled in a little closer, and got exactly what he wanted.
They swarm Landale again, and a turnover. Third turnover on the Gales. Attaway. Met by Landale and denied. And a violation on the dribble on Emmett Nar. Called for the carry. And a timeout on the floor. Pepperdine up by 1.
Yeah, you see Attaway just coming down. Thought he found something. No easy looks today, brother.
Coming up on the Audi halftime report, Duke gives Grayson Allen a senior send-off to remember, and some bubble teams usher in the madness of March. All that and more on the Audi halftime report with John Brickley, Dallin Cuff, and LaFonso Ellis. Right now, we got a tight one. Pepperdine got out to an early lead. St. Mary's has been clawing their way back in. Briefly had their first lead of the game a minute ago. You see they started 4 of 17 from the floor, 0 of 5 from 3, and it's been a completely different story thanks to Jordan Ford on the outside and Jock Landale becoming an assist man in the post.
That's pretty much what he's really good at anyway, facilitating, finding a way to get his teammates involved. And, you know, I feel like the spark from Ford and what he's been able to, you know, bring in and ignite these guys on the offensive end of the floor speaks volumes.
Eric Rothman, Caron Butler, quarterfinal game here at the Orleans Arena, the West Coast Conference Tournament. It's a foul inside on Jock Landale. It's his first. And it's going to send Darnell Dunn to the free throw line. Darnell, a guy who has really grinded out his career. I mentioned he was a junior college transfer from Miami-Dade. He actually, before that, as a freshman, played at the Division II school, Queens University of Charlotte. And now finding his way onto the floor at Division I program. Still just a junior. Grew up in North Carolina, born in Jamaica. It's a three-point advantage for Pepperdine. Hermanson, baseline, Nar calling for it, but before the pass, the foul underneath on Cameron Edwards. They got him for the block.
Yeah, you know, Edwards came over with his hands high, still was shuffling his feet, sliding over, and that's why he was called for the block. Love the effort.
Landale calling for it, got the ISO, lost it off of his hip. Transition, offense for Pepperdine. And Edwards will go to the free throw line.
Defensively, Edwards did a real good job with Landale down there, beating him to the spot. Seemed like offensively, Landale had his mind made up and lost possession of the ball. And, you know, Edwards did a great job of just getting out in transition and getting ahead of the pack. And now he's at the foul line, taking 2.
We talk about the injury bug the past couple of seasons for Pepperdine and head coach Marty Wilson. Well, Cameron Edwards, he missed all of last year. He actually redshirted because a week before the season started, he broke his jaw. And so comes back this year, ready to play, and then has to miss 9 games because of a concussion. It's kind of been the story for a lot of these Pepperdine Waves players. A lot of fits and starts. They're still missing some guys. Transfer Eric Cooper Jr., transfer from Nevada, he's still out. But their core, Trey Burhow, Cameron Edwards, Colby Ross, all healthy. Trying to make one last run for head coach Marty Wilson. Edwards with the right hand, sweet touch for Cameron Edwards.
Shows a lot of ability. His versatility and his body control, the length of the floor, putting it on the floor, avoiding contact.
Another 3 for Emmett Nahr ends a 7-0 run for Pepperdine. Back to a 1-possession game under 2 minutes to play here in the first half.
Usually don't see Nahr scoring offensively on the perimeter like you're seeing today. 2 threes already, winding that shot up and getting it off, but defenders are not closing out to him, so he's taking advantage of it.
Ford head up looking for some help. Nahr's calling for it. He's got the hot hand. They double Landale, left Nahr alone. He hesitated for a moment. 10 on the shot clock. Tanner Krebs lost it.
Clearly a result of overpassing right there.
And a block as Colby Ross went inside. Krebs, who turned it over on one end, called for the block on the other.
Yeah. You look at St. Mary's from an offensive standpoint. They was trying to, find a way to get Landale the ball and resulted to a turnover. And, Ross did an excellent job of getting the defender going downhill, backpedaling, drawing the contact, and now he makes his way to the foul line.
St. Mary's now with 6 turnovers. They averaged about 9 a game. So already more than halfway there. As we wind down the first half, head coach Randy Bennett, his team shooting 40% from the floor. They got out to a really slow start. And then Jordan Ford kicked it into high gear. They've got a couple 3-pointers from Emmett Nahr. But still, Jock Landale just 4 points on 2 of 6 shooting. And Pepperdine, to their credit, they have withstood the runs of St. Mary's. They have a 5-point lead here with 1:02 to play in the first and a 30-second timeout on the floor. For the 33rd year, ESPN Champ Week continues Sunday with 4 women's title games. Starts with the ACC Championship. That game's at 2 Eastern. Then on to the SEC at 4:30, followed by the Big Ten at 7. And then the Pac-12 Women's Championship rounds it out at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, all on ESPN2. You can always watch those games live on the ESPN app. We march towards a West Coast Conference tournament crown. It's the final quarterfinals today, then 2 semifinals on Monday, and the finals Tuesday night. Everybody kind of thought it'd be a collision course for Gonzaga and St. Mary's to meet in the finals, but Pepperdine, at least through almost 1 half of play, has something to say about that.
Yeah, you can't assume anything when you're in, tournament play and everyone backs against the wall. Anything can possibly happen, and everyone's competing at a high level.
Colby Ross was fighting through the screen and got called for the foul. That's his first. The 7th foul on the Waves. So Emmett Nahr, who's an 86% free throw shooter at the line. We mentioned it earlier, 2nd in the nation in assists per game, behind Trey Young. Nahr tonight, Karan, has had better looks at shots than he has passes. He's knocked down 2 of 3 from 3 and only 1 assist.
And I think that's by design. If you're looking at the Waves and how they want to defend, you want to force Nahr to be a scorer as much as possible and not a facilitator, getting other guys in position to do what they accustomed to doing, and that's score.
Dunn off the glass and beat Landale one-on-one. St. Mary's led for about 30 seconds of this first half. Other than that, it's been all Pepperdine, and St. Mary's just trying to keep pace.
It's all about adjustments. You know, you go in at halftime, you make a couple adjustments, you come out offensively, hopefully that, you know, you're in sync and good things happen for you.
Need to figure out how to hold on to the basketball. 7 turnovers now in the first half. Ross for 3. Had a couple more seconds to shoot. Took that shot a bit prematurely. But Marty Wilson and the Pepperdine Waves are going to march into the locker room with their heads held high. A 33-28 lead for the Pepperdine Waves over the St. Mary's Gales. Halftime here in Las Vegas with Pepperdine. A surprising lead over St. Mary's at the break. After the break, we'll head to the studio. But for now, a quick respite before the second half of Pepperdine and St. Mary's here at the West Coast Conference Tournament. The West Coast Conference Tournament is part of ESPN's coverage of Champ Week, presented by Principal. It's a 33-28 halftime lead for the 10th seed Pepperdine Waves over the St. Mary's Gales here at the Orleans Arena. Welcome you back inside, everybody, alongside Karan Butler. I'm Eric Rothman, and Karan, really, Pepperdine, in terms of time of possession, in terms of time of having the lead, dominated that whole first half. They got some really timely three-point shots.
Yeah, they just came out with a different edge to them, and they had a belief within that team and that nucleus saying, we can come out here and upset these guys today.
Marty Wilson is coaching what could be his last game. We take a look at the three-point shots from Pepperdine in that first half, and Marty got his guys out running early, got out to that 19-4 lead.
Yeah, they was playing with pace, and you see Burhow right there knocking down the jumper in the corner, and then here Ross is, you know, coming in length of the floor, and then Burhow again with the escape dribble left, nailing the three, and then Ross again, the freshman, playing extremely well, and he's been seasoned for these moments with all the injuries and playing particularly well tonight.
Big issue for St. Mary's. You see the points off turnovers. They're lucky that Pepperdine only got 7 points off their 7 turnovers. It's very uncharacteristic of St. Mary's, and you saw St. Mary's only led for 46 seconds of that first half, and we pick up with a foul here in the second, and this was an issue for Pepperdine on the defensive end, was handling Jock Landale and trying to stay out of foul trouble.
That's amazing. They led for 45 seconds.
Actually 46 if you want to be technical. Give them all of it. If it's only 46, make sure they get credit for all of it.
Wow.
Pepperdine 6-25 overall on the season. St. Mary's 27-4. The winner will take on BYU in the West Coast Conference semifinals on Monday. Pepperdine, Karan, they have not won a game away from Firestone Fieldhouse all season. They were 0 for 14 on the road.
Records are made to be broken.
That's right. They won last night. A neutral site game, no true road wins for Pepperdine. They had lost 8 straight before winning yesterday against Santa Clara. Landale harassed underneath, blocked by Attaway. Landale got it back, and he's fouled. See Landale trying to pump himself up. Just 4 points for him in that first half.
Yeah, you see Landale right here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 3 bodies around him. And Ross, Burhow, Attaway, all making physical contact to Landale. And he's coming up with the ball, and he's fighting, and he's keeping that urgency that you need down there in that paint. And he's going to develop his rhythm. He's going to find it. And he's still rebounding the ball extremely well.
You can say that. He's got 11 rebounds. 6 points now. And he has been a menace all season long. He's the West Coast Conference Player of the Year. A senior from Victoria, Australia, 6-11 so far. Cam Edwards got the tip ball for the lay-in.
Excellent recognition right there by, Cam Edwards, just sealing the defender and still managing to get his hands on the ball and finish for the 2.
And Nahr had a pair of three-pointers in that first half. 10 on the shot clock now for Nahr, who goes left and just blows by Attaway.
And that's what you're used to seeing. You know, Nahr possesses, you know, a good change of gears. And once he gets going downhill, he can make things happen. He's usually facilitating, creating opportunities for others. But he took advantage of that right there and scored the easy two.
Colby Ross had 8 points in the first half. He goes one-on-one with Jordan Ford, and Ford wins the battle. Ford was the offensive star for the Gales in that first half. 4 of 6 shooting for 11 points. He goes baseline for the reverse lay-in.
He's been some spark tonight.
13 points now for Jordan Ford. Five on the shot clock for Udini. One-on-one with Nahr. Udini now 2 for 9 from the floor. Nahr rejected by Attaway. Colby Ross wants to push it. Edwards the jump stop, and he's fouled.
You see Ford just inserting himself in this game and, you know, having his fingerprints all over the success, you know, for St. Mary's. Being aggressive, taking advantage of the defender. You see Burhow right there. You know, not guarding him the way that he should, getting down, getting into his body, and he recognizes that, and he took advantage of that situation going downhill and finishing with the left hand.
This game for St. Mary's, as you see Ford's numbers 13 tonight, just above his season average. This game for St. Mary's really setting up similarly to what we saw in Gonzaga LMU the game before this, when LMU, the team who played yesterday, goes up in the first half against the team Gonzaga. And St. Mary's, in the case here, who hadn't played in a week and able to take advantage in the first half. And then the higher-seeded team able to find a spark. For St. Mary's here, it's been Jordan Ford as we profiled, but we expect St. Mary's to have a little bit more life than they did in that first half.
It's human nature. You know, it's like that sometimes where, you know, you can watch all the film and stuff like that, but when you're sitting around and you come in and you're trying to get engaged, you know, sometimes the team may jump out on you. And you touched on a lot of things, Eric, with, you know, Coach Wilson being his last outing. Guys want to play hard for him and leave it all out there on the court and let the chips fall where they may.
Colby Ross, the freshman. First wave in double figures in scoring. They double Landale again, and again Nahr is open up top. Missed the three this time. Darnell done for three. Now Pepperdine 4 for 11 from behind the arc. Skip pass, Tanner Krebs misses a three. And all that being said, with energy and playing with poise and coming out and playing for one reason or another, whether you're St. Mary's or Gonzaga, first of all, you know the teams you're playing against are gunning for you because they want to knock off the big dogs. But on the other side of things, you got to make your shots. And right now, St. Mary's not doing it. It'll be Burhow to the free throw line to extend Pepperdine's lead when we return. St. Mary's scoreless the last 2.5 minutes. Pepperdine on top by 4 here at the Orleans Arena. Quarterfinals of the West Coast Conference Tournament. And we update you on the last 4 in, first 4 out, according to Joe Lunardi. UCLA knocking off USC tonight, sweeping the season series. So now, according to Joe, UCLA is in, USC is out. Baylor, Texas, Louisville, the other 3 teams, along with UCLA, that Joe Lunardi says we'll squeak into the tournament, but Cron, still the Pac-12 tournament to come here in Las Vegas, and all of that can change.
Yeah, anything can change at any given time. It's going to be extremely competitive. If you're a fan of, basketball, you're going to love it because, it's so much on the line, and guys are going to really be out there competing at a high level.
Trey Burhow at the free throw line, extending the Pepperdine lead. Burhow now in the double figures in scoring. Eric Rothman, Caron Butler with you at the Orleans Arena. Final game of 4 games played here today. The men have a day off tomorrow before the semifinals on Monday. It'll be Gonzaga and San Francisco. And the winner of this game against BYU as Hermanson misses the 3 long. They swarm Landale on the rebound, and Colby Ross comes out with it. Cam Edwards, the jump hook. Now some pace by the Gales. Hermanson rejected by Edwards. Udini, the drive and the finger roll for the Waves.
The Waves are playing some inspired basketball. And we'll get back to that block in a minute.
8-0 run for Pepperdine. Swing around. Jordan Ford for 3. He ends the drought. And he's been the drought ender all night for St. Mary's. Now up to 16 points on 6 of 9 shooting for Jordan Ford. Darnell Dunn with the left hand. Got his own rebound. Put back and a foul. Dunn to the free throw line.
And you can just see, St. Mary's getting out of transition, and Edwards just going and just cleaning it up and turning it to transition on the other end, and Adini finishing.
Darnell Dunn, very good free throw shooter, 80% on the season. He's perfect 3 for 3 so far tonight as Edwards and Udini will take a seat on the bench. Dunn with those 7 points. And we'll see if some of the second unit guys for Pepperdine can keep the intensity going as they bring Attaway in the front court to deal with Landale.
I love what I'm seeing out of Udini. It may not be his stats or anything like that that's showing up on the stat sheet, but his effort, his energy on the sideline, communicating with the guys that's not on the floor, that's true leadership right there. And you can see him leaving it all out there for coach.
Second foul on Colby Ross. They continue to bring Ross over to try to double team Landale. He's done a good job of doing it cleanly so far. Picked up the foul on the last play. And now a hand check foul up top on Trey Burhow. It's the 3rd foul on Burhow. 4th team foul on Pepperdine. They bring Ross over again to double team Landale. He feeds it inside to Fitzner. So 3 fouls on this one possession against the Waves.
That was a heck of a feed by Landale. Just understanding that the double team was coming. You see Ross come down, try to sandwich him. He looks right over his left shoulder and just drops it off. Shovel pass, right to his teammate. That's the type of unselfishness you need from your go-to guy.
And Landale, 6 points, 16 rebounds. The Waves have done a good job keeping him off the offensive statistics, but in terms of rebounds, Landale has 16 of the team's 27.
And you look at Attaway and you look at his frame from a physical standpoint, he's able to stay with Landale and just, lean against him all night long and just make it difficult for him.
Burhow, the step back on the elbow. Burhow is up to 13. Nar, skip pass from Landale, and a triple for Emmett Nar.
Excellent find again by Landale. And the interesting thing about this is you've seen a lot of double teams, you know, and he's seen a lot of double teams all season long, but, you know, having a smaller defender come and be the hit guy, he's looking right over that defender and finding guys on the perimeter, and all they got to do is catch the ball in rhythm and knock down the shot. It's a great point.
And one, Darnell Dunn, flexing down low for the Waves. Darnell Dunn, 9 points, getting back to the free throw line. And we keep waiting for that run from St. Mary's, but so far, Pepperdine has not really given an inch. Still, St. Mary's has only led for 46 seconds of this game, and that was late in the first half. Pepperdine has controlled, they've withstood. Jordan Ford and Emmett Nar hitting from three and really trapped in on Landale, not giving him a ton of opportunities. Nar dishes, Landale the slam. Now that's something we haven't seen a ton of, just the third assist from Emmett Nar.
Yeah, I think he really understands the craft of getting out of double teams. If you're a big man, the guy that's coming over to double team you, he's attacking the body of that guy that's coming over to double team him and looking on the perimeter for guys to throw it out to.
Ross lobs it, intended for Attaway, goes out of bounds. The fourth turnover on Pepperdine.
You can just see, you know, Landale catching the ball, looking right over Ross, cross-court pass to Nar, following through, and you know he had enough time to wind up and take that shot, and then Nar dumping it off to Landale for the strong finish.
Our NBA Sunday matchup features some of the association's brightest young stars and teams with Eastern Conference playoff hopes. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and the Sixers take on the Greek Freak and the Bucks. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, and as always, the ESPN app.
Talk about trust the process and what Philadelphia has going on. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, soon to be, hopefully Markelle Fultz can get out there at some point. The young nucleus, the possibility of obtaining LeBron James in free agency.
You sure you want to retire? You get the veteran minimum, you know, get a ring.
It's too late. I can still catch and shoot. I still can catch and shoot. And talk about the run the Lakers been on. Just clicking on all cylinders. Lonzo Ball, excellent game tonight. I think he was 3 for 3 from the three down the stretch.
Yeah, big three-pointers.
Huge. And mathematically, they're still in the playoff hunt.
Landale, the block out of the break as Darnell Dunn had nowhere to go. Under 11 minutes to play in regulation, and the foul bug is starting to catch up with the Waves. Landale, a great rejection. Again, 8 points on the offensive end, just 3 of 8 shooting, but 17 rebounds, 1 away from a career high, and he's got 11 minutes to do it. Landale backing in, got the ISO on Attaway, and 1 for Jock Landale.
Jock Landale did an excellent job of catching the ball in the paint on this possession. And Attaway, you know, using his big frame, but wasn't enough. You know, Landale just extremely agile, keeping his pivot, and then following through and getting the contact +1.
So enjoyable to see a guy like Landale who's so comfortable back to the basket. Post move after post move. He'll just bait you into making a bad decision on the defensive end.
Yeah, he could score in multiple ways. He could score with the left hand, the right hand. He could take you off the blocks. Face-up game, extremely well. And he's defending. You know, he's being a wall in that paint, as you saw in that possession right there.
The disruptor on that shot by Jody Smith. Landale looked around for help, then decided to take it himself. Up to 13 points and a double-double for Landale. 7-0 run for the Gales.
He won't.
St. Mary's last lead was when it was 23-22. They are at the brink of taking over, and Pepperdine wants to take a timeout.
That's what they always say. You don't want to poke the bear.
Oh, they poked him. Landale with the right hand, getting it going on the offensive end. 13 and 17 for the West Coast Conference Player of the Year. Jock Landale has really taken over here in the second half, and Karani's up to a double-double, 13 and 17, doing it both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I said, you know, they poked that bear and they woke him up. You know, he started with his versatility of, you know, blocking shots and getting fired up on the defensive end, and offensively, he just fed off that momentum.
You see players to lead their conference in points and rebounds this season. Landale 21 and 10 leading the West Coast Conference, up there with DeAndre Ayton leading the Pac-12. Ayton had 26 and 20 tonight.
Wow.
And Landale could be on a similar path, 13 and 17 if he keeps cooking on the offensive end. It's a 7-0 run for St. Mary's. A 2.5-minute drought for Pepperdine. Last lead for the Gales, 23-22 in the first half. It was for 45 seconds, very short-lived. Offensive rebound, Darnell Dunn, the putback.
That's a really good putback by Dunn, you know, avoiding the contact. You know, with Landale being right there, him going straight up and just using the glass for the easy two. But it's amazing how good players always find their way. And I'm talking about Landale in this particular situation where offensively he wasn't clicking. Them collectively as a whole wasn't clicking, and he found his way, found his rhythm by rebounding the ball, getting his touches, making other guys better. They're knocking down shots, and now offensively, all of a sudden he's engaged.
Well, as soon as he was finding those skip passes for open three-pointers, they dropped the double team on a couple of possessions. That got him going on the offensive end. You see 3 for 4 in the second half, and that's rebound number 18. Landale calling for it. Foul on the floor. It's on Trey Burhow.
You know, this game and the last game that we just called, you know, Eric, got a lot of similarities. And say about the 9-minute mark of that ball game, the Zags really start putting the point of emphasis on defense.
Yeah, you're
and,
right.
you know, just impose their will on the game. And you can kind of see that momentum changing right now. But, you know, the Waves don't want the Marty Wilson era to end.
Burhow picked up his 4th foul, so that's a big loss to have him on the bench. Got 13 points on 4 of 6 shooting. And Landale continues the impressive second half, tying things up at 50. The winner to play BYU in the semifinals of the West Coast Conference Tournament. Darnell Dunn at the elbow. They gave him some space and he took it.
Definitely more than capable of knocking down shots if you're going to give him real estate to shoot it.
Hermanson, he can knock down shots. Ross threads the needle. Dunn blocked. And look who's there to clean it up. It's Jody Smith, the freshman.
And that's what he's in there for. Activity. You know, defensively and offensively, as you just saw.
Jordan Ford steps into a 3, and Jordan Ford has found his stroke here tonight against Pepperdine as he's up to 19 points, the leading scorer in this ball game.
And then he was all in his grill, and Forrest still shot the ball. Did not miss a stride, follow through, picture-perfect jumper.
Ford 7 of 10 from the floor. Edwards inside, missed the lay-in. Darnell Dunn, second chance points for Dunn, who has doubled up his season average and then some. Came into the game averaging 6 points per game. And now Dunn has 15 in this one.
Yeah, it's winning time. This is a stretch of the game that's most important right now.
Good ball fake. Emmett Narr for three.
You got to tip your hat off to Jock Landale for just entrusting Narr to knock down that shot. And once he caught it, excellent shot fake, made the whole defensive shift. And he wind that thing up and he let it go.
Narr is 4 for 6 from three, 16 points. Dunn traveled. Tie ball game and a turnover on Pepperdine. St. Mary's a chance to retake the lead. 56-56, Pepperdine hanging around here in the quarters of the WCC tourney. Emmett Narr has been the sniper from downtown for St. Mary's. 4 of 6 from three. He's got that long windup, Karan, but they've given him space tonight.
Like what you said, if you don't know, now you know. He's definitely capable of knocking down shots and open look. And obviously you got to wind it up a little bit, but he's just so confident, showing that he can impact the game, not just from an assist standpoint, but he can score the ball if he's needed.
16 points, well over his season average of 10 points per game. Or just 3 assists in this one. He's turned into a primary scorer for St. Mary's in their comeback effort. Eric Rothman, Karan Butler here with you. 6.5 minutes to play in the second half between the Gales and the Waves. Jordan Ford, another 3.
Even though that was a good look by Ford, I felt like one more back to Narr. He got the hot hand. Keep him in the flow.
Darnell Dunn has been excellent for the Waves. Kicks it to Ross in the corner. And every time St. Mary's has threatened, Pepperdine has had the answer.
Listen, they're fighting for everything. They don't want it to end. They do not want this season to end like this.
Fitzner, pickpocket. It was Ross with the theft. He's going to be a special player.
Yes, he is.
It's the freshman, Colby Ross. Led the conference in scoring and assists amongst freshmen. Darnell Dunn, little touch shot on the fadeaway.
But when a guy like Chauncey Billups, bring up Ross and talk about his work ethic and things like that, something that you definitely got to take notice to.
Jody Smith called for the foul, and Jock Landale back to the free throw line.
And this is when he's at his best because he's making shots. He's drawing so much attention now. And he's going downhill. And he found Jock Landale right up under the basket. Where he usually at. Their two-man game is just so exquisite in the way that they play off one another.
15 points, 18 rebounds. That's a career high. He's done it twice before. Under the 5-minute mark here in the second half with 10 on the shot clock for the Waves. Ross with his left, got bodied, lost it out of bounds, no foul. Turnover on Pepperdine.
Found himself trying to create an opportunity for himself or someone else. Still frustrated by that turnover, but you got to get back on defense.
They trap Narr. They're going to say a timeout was taken by Narr before a foul was called. Each referee had their own view of things. The referees, Greg Nixon, Coban Lopez, and Toby Doolittle. And Lopez had a timeout. And Nixon had a foul, but the timeout was called first. And a reminder, for the 33rd year, ESPN Champ Week continues Sunday with 4 women's title games. The ACC Championship kicks things off at 2 Eastern. The SEC at 4:30, Big Ten at 7, and the Pac-12. The nightcap at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. All right here on ESPN2. You can always watch those games live on the ESPN app. Emmett Narr was able to call the timeout. St. Mary's got a couple of free throws from Landale, but other than that, they have not made a field goal in nearly 3 minutes. It's these long stretches of scorelessness that have kept Pepperdine alive. Seven on the shot clock. They go back to Landale. Up top, Hermanson swings it through. And a traveling violation on Narr. It's the 13th turnover on St. Mary's.
You see the defensive rotation. Everyone's so in sync and engaged. You know, when you're looking at the Pepperdine Waves, they're just rotating. They're showing a lot of activity on the defensive end. That's exactly what you need in one.
And then on the offensive end, Cam Edwards finds the target. Pepperdine's not going away, Karan.
Really aren't. See Edwards, you know, Udini playing great defense. They're playing inspired basketball right now. They're playing for one another, and that can be extremely contagious.
Hermanson was fouled. I believe Edwards will pick up the personal.
You see Edwards, you know, playing off of Ross with the dribble handoff. Quick step back and pop. I got action.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Investments, retirement, insurance.
The Pepperdine Waves, the 10 seed in the West Coast Conference Tournament, on top of the St. Mary's Gales late here in the second half. It's the final quarterfinals game of the West Coast Conference Tournament. Earlier tonight, Karan, Killian Tilly had a monster game as the Zags took down LMU.
I'm accustomed to seeing Tilly play this way and doing all the little things, which is major things. Scoring the ball from the outside, putting the ball on the floor, scoring within, finishing strong. Exactly what Gonzaga needed to get that game, and he brought that effort.
So the Zags advance, as do the San Francisco Dons, for a semifinal battle on Monday. BYU is in their hotel rooms waiting to see who wins this one and who they will be playing in the semifinals, either St. Mary's or the upstart Pepperdine Waves. 6-25 overall on the season, 2-16 in conference. Karan, they had a stretch where they lost 19 of 20 games. And here they are under 4 minutes to go. And a game with a loss would be the end of Marty Wilson's head coaching career at Pepperdine and his team playing for him, playing for their season to stay alive in a disappointing overall season. But it could all be turned around with this big upset here against St. Mary's.
I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar that BYU did not think that they was when we were watching the second half of this ball game.
I don't think many people thought it was going to be this close. Hermanson breathes some life into the Gales.
You know, you're preparing the film, getting ready for your next opponent, and you're like, wait, still got time. The guys are still up close to midnight out here.
Five on the shot clock, top of the free throw circle for Ross. Now a chance For St. Mary's to take the lead. They haven't had it since the score was 23-22. Pepperdine standing their ground on the defensive end. 10 on the shot clock now for the Gales. Hermanson in the corner. Back to back for Hermanson, and St. Mary's has the lead.
That was a bad closeout by Burhow. Should have at least jumped at him. You know, Hermanson is a shooter. He's a catch-and-shoot guy. He's a shot maker. You want to try to run him off the shot. That rotation was short, and it gave him too much airspace.
8-0 run for St. Mary's. Edwards baseline, he's fouled.
You see Hermanson right now, just replacing himself, stand right there in front of, Jock Landale. And then once again, that closeout felt like should have been a little bit more urgency to that, because, he just hit one. You know that he's more than capable. You want to try to run him off the shot.
Edwards now with 12 points, coming off the game yesterday against Santa Clara, where he had 25 points. Trying to stop the bleeding here with under 2 minutes to play.
It's what you want if you're the Waves. A possession ball game down the stretch. Anything can happen.
Nar thought about a three. Resets to Jordan Ford. Landale wants it down low. He gets it. Hermanson again. 3 in a row for Calvin Hermanson.
Now he got a rhythm. Burhow did an excellent job on that possession, getting out to him and making a better effort. But now that he has a rhythm, it's kind of tough to cool him off.
Hermanson with 3 huge three-pointers to put St. Mary's up by 4. And Karan, they've worked it through Landale, gotten the spacing, extra passes, and Hermanson has just found it.
Yeah, the first one right there, just get into a flow, tripping over Burhow afterwards. Just catching the ball and not even thinking, because he established the rhythm, and that's exactly what Jock Landale needs from Hermanson. Needs him to be the outlet guy. Not having Nar right there, but Nar did an excellent job throughout the night, knocking down shots and making the defenders respect him, which freed up Hermanson down the stretch. Way to go, excellent basketball.
Hermanson, who started 1 for 6 from the floor, has hit his last 3. He's up to 14 points. And you're right, Nar being the facilitator, Pepperdine having to respect the 3. And tonight, St. Mary's 11 for 22 from three-point range. 4 players in double figures for the Gales. Ford leading the way with 19. Nar and Landale 16. Hermanson not far behind with those 14 points. And we'll see what kind of response the Waves have here with 1.5 minutes to go.
Whatever happens, going forward, just tip your hat off to both teams, and particularly the young team of the Pepperdine Waves. They came out and gave an unbelievable effort. And this game is far from over, but, man, I love the way they competed.
Ross, little floater, the freshman, poised under pressure.
Coach Wilson is off his seat, cheering the guys on, trying to rally the troops to pull off a huge upset.
1 minute to play, a 1-possession game. They go to Landale, they double team him, and a foul. So Landale will shoot 2 in the double bonus. He is 6 for 7 from 3. Excuse me, 6 for 7 from the free throw line. 76% free throw shooter on the season. That one lips out.
St. Mary's really need this free throw right here by Landale. Give them the cushion that's much needed. And he delivered.
3-point ball game. 45 seconds to play here in regulation. Edwards, the cutter, loose ball. Ford out with it. Loose ball again. Edwards ties up Ford. Held ball. Possession arrow in favor of Pepperdine.
You see all the effort. You see the bodies flying around. You see Ford all over top of the basketball, and you see the waves. Ross not giving up. Edwards not giving up. Burhow on top of the play.
And Ford just ran into his own teammate. He turned around after getting the steal and just bumped right into Emmett Nahr. See 2 timeouts remaining for St. Mary's. And they also still have a foul to give. Up by 3. It's going to be Pepperdine basketball. 26 seconds to go. And really for St. Mary's, Landale, Hermanson, Nahr, they've led the way for the Gales.
Really have. You look at the big 3 right here. 16 points, 5 assists from Nahr. 5 assists really jumps out, but the points is even more intriguing because he's not a guy that's accustomed to scoring. He's usually found facilitating for others. You see Hermanson been huge down the stretch, knocking down shots. And then Jock Landale just, had his fingerprints all over this game. Whether he was scoring, defending, rebounding, energizing the crowd, to say the least, true leadership.
Referees are taking a look at the play that led us to a timeout. That was the held ball.
And you can't overturn it.
Call on the floor was a held ball. Possession arrow is in favor of Pepperdine. Could be a timing issue. Could be trying to figure out how much time should be on the clock, because every second counts here with 26.5 seconds to play. They want to make sure that the timing is correct on when the held ball was signaled. We think it's going to stay with Pepperdine. So if you're St. Mary's, Coach Randy Bennett, take a look at the clock here. It's pretty close, maybe a half second. Maybe they bring it up to 27, but not much. If you're Randy Bennett, you have to have your team understand the foul situation. They have a foul to give, and it's a very intelligent, experienced team that St. Mary's has. And you expect them to use that foul in the right situation if Pepperdine is threatening to score.
You have to be smart about it. You don't want to ever foul a guy in the act of shooting. You don't want to have to be too smart. And sometimes, coaches elect to, just defend and take pride in their defense and understand that they can get a stop. They switch things on the perimeter. It is a 3-point game, so you switch things on the perimeter. You take away the 3-point shot, and you force them to drive to the basket.
This is a long review just to look at the clock for what couldn't be more than a half of a second difference.
Clearly the refs have nowhere to be.
So now they'll go over for some explanations. We're waiting for an explanation as well. Well, Marty Wilson's not happy. Whatever the ruling on the floor is that has been changed, Marty Wilson's not happy about it. So a simultaneous held ball. The shot clock should not have reset. So there's 4 seconds on the shot clock for Pepperdine. And now the shot clock doesn't start at all. So we're going to do it again. So what they're saying is 2 things. One, that the Pepperdine shot never hit the rim. So the shot clock shouldn't reset. They're also saying Jordan Ford did not have possession of the ball for St. Mary's when he turned around and hit Emmett Nahr and lost the ball. So because he never got possession, the shot clock should have kept rolling because technically it was still Pepperdine basketball. And here it is again. The shot by Edwards does not hit the rim. So now they say Ford does not have possession right there. So that's a good call. Ford did not have possession. You see the referee signaling the bobble. And because of that, the held ball occurred on what should have been 4 seconds to go on the shot clock for Pepperdine.
It's the right call. But fast forward from that, did the three-point basket just go in by Ross? But it was no one to control the shot clock?
Nope, didn't count.
How unfortunate. It just seemed like the momentum was really in their favor.
So now they lose another 2 seconds on the shot clock.
Wow. Wake up.
So this whole thing has gone poorly for Pepperdine in the last 30 seconds. Trying to figure out this play. Here's Ross again, leans into a 3. Off the mark. Dunn keeps it alive. Edwards for 2. He could have held it. Edwards did not need to let it go so quickly. Edwards could have pulled it out, could have waited for a better shot.
I don't think he was behind the line on that one either.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he understood the time situation. And can't blame him. There's been so much confusion here with the shot clock over the past minute. Trying to figure out who had the ball, what time was on the shot clock. So Edwards back to the basket, couldn't see the clock, just threw it up.
Extremely unfortunate. It's a lot of change of events down this stretch that, you know, can have you rattled as a basketball player, not understanding the time or anything. But hey, still got a shot. If this foul shot don't go in, it's more than enough time to make something happen.
Krebs missed them both. Ross tracks down the rebound. 10 seconds to play. Pepperdine needs a 3 to tie, and there's the foul that the Gales have to give. It's foul number 6. Now the question is, do you foul Pepperdine again and put them on the line for the 1-and-1 down by 3?
If you're an analytical guy, you do that. You definitely do that, and you play the numbers and the percentages.
Get it into
right now.
Ross.
Right now.
Ross for 3. Missed everything. And again, had 4.5 seconds to work with. Could have held for a better shot, made an extra pass if he wanted to.
All you can ask for, Eric, is the opportunity, and you definitely had an opportunity down the stretch. A few. You had a few opportunities down the stretch to, you know, make something good happen and change your fate, but it seems to be that, you know, the better team is going to probably walk away with this win.
And another official review. This one to determine how much time is left on the clock. And to make sure that it was off of Pepperdine, and pretty clearly it was.
Trying to make sure that, you know, on the shot, was it deflected?
But regardless, I think Darnell Dunn touched it on the rebound. You see it hit his left hand.
Got his hand on it.
So the clock looks right at 4.5. The call looks right with Dunn hitting it. And so if St. Mary's can squeak this one out, they will advance to play BYU, a BYU team who in Provo this season took St. Mary's to overtime, played them tough in that game, and we talked about it before, but BYU, the big three of Childs, Hawes, and Bryant, if those three can get clicking, they're a team that's capable of beating St. Mary's.
Listen, Childs, Bryant, they're well coached. Feel like they, Coach Rose, they could be anyone on any given night. And it's all about, their attitude and their disposition, and is they're going to come in with the right mindset to, win a ball game. I've seen them play extremely well, particularly when you go up to Utah. You see all the fans in the Rock student section, just ready to explode, and they feed off that energy. How can they manufacture that here in Las Vegas Sunday night?
So the call stands. It is St. Mary's basketball. They add a half a second onto the clock. 3-point advantage for the Gales. Get it into Hermanson. Every referee has blown its whistle, and the referee who takes charge says it's a travel on Hermanson. All three referees, Nixon, Lopez, Doolittle, looking at each other. And finally, Nixon made the call. Travel on Hermanson. Life for Pepperdine. 3.5 seconds to go. Down by 3. What a crazy last minute of action between these two teams. Udini, the inbounder, he needs to get it in. Ross turns the corner. Step back for 3. Ross comes up short, and so do the Waves. A valiant effort from the underdog, Pepperdine Waves, in what will be Marty Wilson's final game of his head coaching career with Pepperdine, as Colby Ross had a good look, try to tie it.
He really did. You utilized the escape dribble, left it a little short, but it's nothing to hang your head over. You had an excellent look, had a couple opportunities at it. You're a young player. You're going to learn from these experiences. You see the bench, everybody's engaged. Just fell a little short. And I love the fact that Coach Wilson comes over and pick him up. Just let him know that he's going to be all right. He's going to be fine. He left a valid effort out there on the court. Tip your hat off to him.
3-point win for St. Mary's. We'll be back for more from the Orleans Arena. We'll have Jock Landale when we return as St. Mary's heads to the semifinals of the West Coast Conference Tournament. A grinded-out win for the St. Mary's Gales, 69-66 over Pepperdine in the quarterfinals of the West Coast Conference Tournaments here at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. So St. Mary's, the number 2 seed, will advance to take on BYU on Monday night. Gonzaga and San Francisco already set in the semifinals as we are back inside the Orleans Arena. We are joined by Jock Landale, who had a career-high 19 rebounds along with 17 points in this game. First off, congratulations on the win. I know it was a tough one. Pepperdine came in, huge underdogs. They led for the vast majority of the game. You guys were able to squeak it out at the end. Why was it so difficult?
I mean, it's something we talk about leading into the game, is these guys, they get to get all the nerves out and get used to the court the night before, and it's not an excuse or anything like that, but, I mean, it does play a huge factor. So I think that we were a little slow to start, and our shots were not dropping in the first couple of minutes, and we turned the ball over way more than we usually do. So we just had to get through that a little bit, and then towards the end of the game, Calvin hit some massive shots down the stretch, and things ended up panning out well. Yeah,
going into halftime, what was the point of emphasis coming out? How did you guys change that?
Coach just kind of yelled at us for 10 minutes about being tougher, and I mean, to be honest, he was telling the truth. We did need to be tougher, and I think that we did that in the second half. We defended a bit better, and we got on the boards a lot more, and things were good.
They double-teamed you a lot, brought over the guards. You seem to be finding a lot of skip pass opportunities for 3. Was that something you were prepared for coming in?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we've been working on for a while, because we know that a lot of teams are going to start doing that to us because of what Gonzaga did to us at home. So we've been working on that a lot, and I think that tonight we played through it really well. And Tanner did a great job of kind of doing his thing as the four-man, and then Calvin hit massive shots, and Emmett hit some shots, and Ford played really well as well.
Talk a little bit about Nar and how huge he was from an offensive standpoint.
He's always big for us, and I mean, he hasn't been having his best games down the stretch lately, but I think tonight he came up big, and he's just, I mean, he's the centerpiece of I wouldn't say the centerpiece of our offense, but he's definitely one of them, and he kind of just strings everything together. He's the one who dishes out the assists and sets us up, and he leads us like no one else. And yeah, it was, I mean, for us, it's just to have someone like that who can lead us like that is great.
John, congratulations. Good luck against BYU. St. Mary's knocking off Pepperdine once again. The final 69-66 for Karan Butler and our entire crew. I'm Eric Rothman. Coming up next on ESPN2, 30 for 30 short from the West Coast Conference Tournament in Las Vegas. Have a good night, everybody.